Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and if you've clicked on this video because of the title, or if you just happen to be here, stay for this video. I think it's very important, especially with everything going on today in terms of the pandemic, in terms of very unpopular restrictions that people are going through and such, and this thing with authority where people are clashing a little bit. So stay for this video, it's absolutely worth it. I've been very blessed in terms of experience with dealing with police of all sorts of a number of different countries. Since I published my first book, I think that maybe like 60%, maybe even more of the people I interact with that either contact me or just send me a message, or I've even ended up meeting face-to-face with people. This happened a lot while still in Argentina, and someone was traveling over there and, hey, can I actually meet you? Sure, if I had the time, I would make the time for that if it was at all possible. But at the end of the day, I had a lot of interaction and talking and chatting, and even living in different countries and owning guns in different countries. There's this thing about you always end up talking or having to either pass tests or get permits from police. So this is something I have a bit of experience with over the years in a number of different situations with people from different countries even. So these are three very simple rules to keep in mind. This is a lot of common sense, but the thing is, I always see people that obviously don't know this, so it's maybe not as common sense as I thought it would be, because it is extremely common that I find people that just don't follow at least one of these. All right, so let's get right to it. First of all, when talking with police and such, you should know the law. Right. When talking with police, military, people of authority from the government of any kind, know the law. Right. If you don't know the law, you have nothing to stand on. Right. The law is basically the law of the land in terms of what you actually can do or cannot do. So if you're watching this from the United States, you have the Second Amendment. Okay, I have my gun. Yeah, can I go into a courthouse with that gun? Probably not. All right. Can I do a number of? I have the Second Amendment. Can I own a full automatic rifle without the proper paperwork? No, probably that's not the case. So know the local laws that apply to you wherever it is that you are. That is the main thing. If you follow those laws, you will have a little problem. This brings me to point number 2, which is not only know the law, but actually follow the law. This is something I always, I've often seen where people tell you, yes, you shouldn't be doing this, but this is just one time. Or people that think that laws don't apply to them because, they're special. No, but it's this one time only, or no, but when you start with, yes, I shouldn't be doing this, or yes, this is against the law, but when you start with those buts of trying to justify what you know is wrong, then you have a problem. For example, if you want to start dealing drugs, cocaine in your neighborhood, probably that's against the law where you live. There's a good chance that's unlawful. That's illegal for you to do so. If you tell me, yes, I want to start selling burgers in my town, probably that is legal for you to do. But maybe there's a good chance that you need some kind of permit of food, a permit of some kind, so as to know that you're not poisoning people, that you keep up with certain health standards of some kind that you have in local laws. There's a good chance that you should have some kind of permit paper of some kind when you're dealing with something that is food related, sold to the public. So that being legal or being okay with the law to do doesn't mean that you can just do it automatically without any further paperwork or something else in between. Right. This is pretty important. The part of knowing the law and following the law. For example, I had one experience with walking I was walking my dog, right, and a police officer. Hey, you need one of those mouthpieces for the dog. The muzzle thing in the dog's mouth. I have an English Bull Terrier. He has kind of like a big. People have said it's like a crocodile. So he has a very big mouth. And I explained to the officer, no, that's not the case, because my dog is an English Bull Terrier, and it's not within the types of dogs that are. That should have that muzzle in their mouth, that thing. And he said, "Oh no, but I'm asking you to do it." And when he said that, I said, this is the regulations that we have here. I'm just following those. You asking me to do something that is not within the local laws, I really have no reason to do that. Other than you just asking me politely, thank you, but no, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be putting something I don't have to put on the dog's mouth just because it makes you feel better. If I had one of these types of dogs, these breeds, where I am obligated to do that, then sure, I would follow that. But you just asking me to do it, thanks, but I'm not going to be happening. Anyways, kind of a little bit upset about that, but there's really nothing you can do. And this brings me to the last point, which is be respectful when you talk with police, military, or any figure of authority. Sometimes this is the point where people screw up very bad. You have to understand that they're all people. I mean, I've talked with all sorts of guys. There was this time I was in Buenos Aires, a couple guys that wanted to meet me, and what are you guys doing? We're FBI. We're like kids, Yeah, that you're FBI. Yes, we are. And he went on, and definitely because of everything they knew, and they were telling me they definitely were FBI, but they were maybe the nicest, kindest, less FBI people. They had the little things that people that are in law enforcement usually have. Some of the body language or the eyes constantly moving, even when they're talking with you and such. But at the end of the day, guys, it's always people. Some small town sheriff that is very knowledgeable about his craft and is a fantastic guy. Even if he lives in a very tiny community, he's just extremely capable and very professional. Military guys as well. I've only really had bad experience once in my life, to straight out bad experience. It was in Buenos Aires when I was a lot younger and more naive, and it was stopped by a cop who started looking through my paperwork and such, and he started looking for something, something that was wrong, so as to get a little tip there. And I was in a kind of like a bad mood, and I didn't feel like being like having to bribe someone if I don't want to do that, And the guy, the police officer, eventually told me, "Well, I'll have to take the car, okay?" And he said, "Okay, just take the car. I'll just get my bag. I'm back from, I was in the university, and I'll just get my bag. Here you go. Here you have the keys." And the cop went like, "What? You're not gonna bribe me? You're not gonna be giving me a small tip or something?" And it was, "Oh, here you go. You have your keys. You asked me for the car. Here's the car. I'll have my bag. I'll go my way." And the guy just got a little bit closer and said, "Kid, you don't understand what's going on here." And that was like the little red line in terms of, yes, I'll stop screwing around. I'll do what he says. It's no longer a police driver interaction. It's a thug with a uniform basically telling you, "Give me money," and just give the money and you just go about your way. That was one of the only thing I could think of in terms of bad experience. By far and large, 99.99% of the cases that I've interacted with police in any country, it's always been fantastic, very positive, very professional experience. But those things could happen, especially in some parts of the world are a little bit more common to have that kind of thing going on. Could be, but by far the most common thing is, if you know the law, you follow the law. And this last point, number 3, you respect and act respectfully towards the person behind, underneath that uniform, then you're likely to have no problem whatsoever. What I mean by this is, you're getting stopped. What kind of attitude do you have? One of the things that people don't quite understand is, especially police, they have to deal with a lot of crap, a lot of insults. They get spit on, they get treated like trash. Sure, if someone spits on a police officer, the police officer then has the right to arrest them. But it still sucks. And it still sucks that people have bad attitude towards you day after day after day. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. And it gets to people. I mean, it's a human being after all. And if you always have a crappy attitude, it's going to be affecting the way that people is predisposed to interact with others. Now, if you are respectful, hey, have a nice day, thank you very much, how are you doing? And you have a more positive tone of voice, body language relaxed, and you are respectful towards that officer. Hey officer, have a nice day. Hey, how are you doing? Okay. If you are more positive, chilled, relaxed, and respectful, there's a good chance, and you've been following the law all along, you won't have a problem. I mean, it's far more likely that things will just end up going out great for you, and you will not have a problem. If you start with an attitude, then again the guy behind the uniform goes like, okay, this asshole, let's see how I can get him. You know, how I can screw up his day. He's having a poor attitude towards me. Let's see where he's screwing up somewhere where I can get back at him. It shouldn't be the attitude that a police officer or anyone else has, but it is kind of something that happens with you just you can't avoid human nature, even if you're wearing a uniform of any type, right? So being polite, being respectful. And finally, you know, maybe bonus point here, especially in the United States, in terms of interaction with police, careful about, first of all, following the directions in terms of keep your hands here. Don't make any sudden movements. One of the things that I've noticed is that police in the United States, it's very militarized, either because of, maybe it's more of a cultural thing, because many guys in law enforcement do have a military background, or many people in law enforcement with that call the shots have a bit of that as well. And intentionally or not, I think it's mostly unintentional, but you kind of bring your life experience to your work. And if your life experience has been combat, has been military, there's a good chance you'll impregnate your other job with a little bit of that as well. So in terms of seeing the hands, that's a big no-no. If a cop tells you, you know, keep your hands where I can see them, and you break that, there's a good chance that things will not end up working nicely for you. Don't make any sudden movements, and interact, communicate a lot. You know, officer, okay, you need what, my license? Okay, I have it there in my bag. Is it okay if I grab it? Okay, sure. There you go. And nothing too fast, nothing too sudden. Chill, relax. That's how you have interaction with police. And again, I've had different experiences in different countries over the years. Following these 3 simple rules, and especially the one in terms of following the indications and not making any sudden movements where an officer cannot see your hands, especially in the United States, that's a big deal. In other countries, not so much. They're a little bit more, it's a little bit less likely that something bad will happen if you do something like that, unless they actually see a weapon. It depends on where you are, depends on how lucky you are as well. That's also a factor, but following these 3 simple rules will make things a lot easier for you. Folks, I hope you liked this little video. If you like my take on survival and preparedness, keep in mind that there's my books available in Amazon, Street Survival Skills, specifically for lots of these things you may want to keep in mind. Take care, enjoy your weekend, have a great weekend, see you in the next video.